good, the bad, and the odd. Just when you think you're out, they pull you back in.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Odd with your hosts Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hello there.
Okay, so this was a free pick one. It was your free pick, so your choice tonight, wasn't it? So you picked Throne of Blood.
Yeah, Throne of Blood.
Throne of Blood. Also sometimes called the Spiderweb Castle. In Japanese, I believe it's called the Spiderweb Castle. So we'll get into that in a minute, but let's do a comfy chair first. So I've got three, and I think you said you had two to me? Yeah. Okay, so I'll start. A lot of mine are kind of, well, no, two of mine are modern. One is definitely not modern. First one is modern. It's out in the cinemas right now. The Substance. I went to see The Substance with Demi Moore. I can't remember the other. Dennis Quaid was in it, and unfortunately I can't remember the name of the young actress in it. I'll look it up while we're talking. Yeah, I went in as blind as I possibly could. I just heard it was a bit messed up near the end. That's kind of all I knew, and I'm not going to spoil it now. But I think bit messed up at the end is probably it, right? This is kind of an art house film. No, this is an exploitation film with art house trappings and done very well. That makes it sound like a put down. It isn't. That is done really well. You go in thinking you're watching something arty, and boy, man, do you get a ride of your life. It's really something. It wasn't what I was expecting plot-wise. I kind of thought there was certain of the characters going to have way more agency than they turned out to have, but it's a mad film. It's a bonkers film. The other main act leading this was Margaret Qualley, younger lady. Really weird. I didn't know what to expect because I was thinking, is this a parody? Because there was a lot of male gaze kind of stuff in it, and I was trying to, is this parodying the male gaze or is it just the male gaze? You know, but it's a female director, and I didn't know this going in. I tried to go as blind as possible. She directed another film I really liked called Revenge, French, I believe, filmmaker, and this was. I mean, Demi Moore was off the hook on this. It was great. She was really terrific. And there was a lot of nudity, and there was no qualms at all from the actresses, which it was kind of interesting. And Demi Moore, obviously, she just wants to give it all. She was fantastic. Dennis Quaid, I really like. I've always liked Dennis Quaid. I really liked it. And Margaret Qualley, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, as Sue, was really terrific too. It's a mad film that harks back to 80s extreme exploitation stroke, or let's say special effects. The 80s kind of special effects, It reminded me of lots of films, and I'm trying to I'm not going to mention any of them. It's something that you have to say. It's a quite slow film, and it was 2 hours 20. And if you're relaxed into it, that's fine. If you're expecting something a bit punchier, nah, this isn't the film for you. It felt very Kubrickian in places. In fact, lots of the imagery appeared to be from The Shining to me specifically, but there was other Kubricky kind of films in there too. It felt like it might be the sort of film Kubrick would make if he was still alive, to be honest. It felt kind of like that, so I really enjoyed this. Yeah, so The Substance, recommend from me. Back to you.
Okay. Well, the first one I'm really going to be talking about is for the first time I've watched a classic Stephen King movie, Carrie. First ever watched
76, right?
Yeah, the 76 one. Again, first time I've ever seen it. I knew what happens in the end, but I've never actually seen the film.
Yeah,
that is a really sweet film right up until the last 2 minutes.
I think it's a great film. Yeah. The only problem I have with this film, and I've always had this problem with the film, is the skeevy shower scene right at the beginning. It's just done really creepy way with the soft music and the lingering shots of young girls in the shower. It's like, come on, dude, come on. You don't have to do that. There's been other remakes of Carrie when they don't do that. Then they're lesser films than this, because Brian De Palma is a great director. But he didn't really need to do that stuff. But the rest of the film is terrific, I think. Actually.
Yeah, it is really good. one of my friends was like, "Man, this is a really, really nice film." And it's like she got away from her abusive mom, and they're at prom now, and I was like just sitting there.
Yeah, it's
you know,
working
the
out
people
for
just
her. She's having a good
"Oh,
time. She's
no."
finally happy. And I don't know. I feel like most of them deserve it at the end. Not all of them. What I find interesting about the film is how much the women are in control of what's going on, right? The blokes are just ciphers, aren't they? They're just going along with it and not much
the guy
agency.
who eventually asks Carrie to the prom is very much just told to do it by his girlfriend.
Yeah. And it's Amy
Just like, you're asking
Irving. I'm trying to think of some of the other actresses as well. They're all really good. It's a great cast.
Yeah.
Sissy Spacek is outstanding. I have to tell you, there's an audible of this book read by Sissy Spacek, and it's one of the great audiobooks, in my opinion, because Sissy Spacek is really good reading this out. It's excellent. So, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Because you've seen some? You've obviously seen some. We've done Maximum Overdrive, haven't we?
Yeah.
For example,
I've done some. Some.
But I mean, this is his first book. You know,
Yeah. It's the one that gave him his big break, right?
Yeah, well, it was the book that sold well, and then this movie kind of made it stratospheric, and then, you know, the King train never really stopped. I mean, it goes in lulls, but he's back in full, you know, with it and things like Stranger Things, which, all right, aren't Stephen King, but then plugging into Stephen King and Steven Spielberg, right?
They're not Stephen King, but they're pretty much Stephen King.
They're pretty much Stephen King. Exactly. And he's still getting his stories made. I mean, Salem's Lot is out this week in the cinemas, you know. And Salem's Lot, funny enough, was the second King property after Carrie as a TV movie. A very successful and well thought of TV movie, TV miniseries, I should say. So yeah, Carrie, I think, is a great movie. The remake's not very good. All of them.
Okay.
None of them. And I've never seen the sequel, but I've heard it's bad. Carrie 2, The Blood or something. I don't know. Something like that. But Piper Laurie's really good as the Mad Mother as well.
Yes, right? Yes, she's very good in this.
She's almost completely unrecognisable. If you see her in Twin Peaks as Catherine Martell, you would not recognise her.
Yeah, I didn't know it was the same person until you told me.
I mean, her characterisation is completely different, isn't it? You just wouldn't know. She's really good as Carrie's mother. It's a good read as well. The book, yeah. It's one of his shortest books as well. It's quite a quick read. I think, you know, the audiobook's only like 8 hours compared to like 15, 20, you know, you're getting up to 45 hours with like it and The Stand and stuff like that. But Carrie's really sweet. And it's also done in an epistolary style, kind of letters written to people and news reports and things like that. Some of it, not entirely, but some of it is like that. So it's kind of, certainly the ending is definitely like that. Because it's just news reports of the aftermath. You're just reading these news reports, and it's like, oh god, that's grim. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, it's a great film. Yeah, as you know, I did do the Kingology podcast for quite a while. It's on a hiatus at the minute, but we went from Carrie. We went from Carrie to Nightmares and Dreamscapes, which I think was his third short story collection, but we didn't sort of pick up after that. But yes, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Right. Cool. Right, my next one you do know very well, and it is an old film. I just felt like a rewatch of this, and I did. And my opinion of it doesn't change after this rewatch. It was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from '73.
Oh boy, the nightmare experience.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the other two, but I cannot believe they're going to be any better than the second half of this movie, right? It's really off the hook, this one. It is a very boring first half, though. Yes. It's got these forced and not very well done musical numbers. It's a weirdly...
Yeah, Cheer Up Charlie is not a great song.
Cheer Up Charlie, and a bloke who can't sing that well singing Candyman. You know, things like that.
Well, at the very least, Candyman's like an upbeat song.
It is.
It's like, it's a catchy tune.
Yeah. But, I mean, the book's a bit like that. The book is kind of depressing until he gets in the factory. So, yeah, and they try to have their cake and eating it by pretending it's in America, but it's clearly not in it. It's clearly Germany or somewhere. They're actually filming this.
Yeah.
Oh, those are not American houses. It's a bit like Hellraiser. You know, they pretend it's in America, but it's clearly Britain. They're making it. Things like that.
They have a weird sort of other problem with this, where like in the remake, the Johnny Depp one, it's clearly supposed to be like England. Except Willy Wonka is very American.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I haven't seen Chalamet's one. I don't know how that's played. Isn't Hugh
that's
Grant
like a
on
prequel.
Olympus or something?
Yeah, that's a prequel. It's not like
I didn't realise that.
I
did not know that. Oh, okay, okay. But there's Olympus in it, isn't there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. He hated that film, apparently.
Did he?
Like,
okay.
Yeah. Did not want to be an Oompa Loompa.
Okay. Okay. But this is the first 40 minutes. Honestly, I think I did watch it all this time, but I think whenever I watch this again, I'm just going to fast forward to the 40-minute mark and then watch it from there. Because once Gene Wilder's in it, this goes to a completely different level of movie, and it's so much better. I mean, ridiculously better. I just love how he really doesn't give a crap about the kid. You know, it's like, oh, stop. He just,
stop.
He's like, oh, if they're going to do this, who cares? Let them do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It all starts with Augustus Gloop sticking his mouth in the river of chocolate, right? And then it goes from there. And there's that nightmarish scene with the boat as well.
Yeah, just out of nowhere, just
a really scary.
Why is that in there? It's just unpleasant. It's not in the book.
This must rank up there with the likes of the Black Cauldron and Watership Down as traumatic childhood films, right?
Yeah, most likely.
I mean, a chicken gets his head chopped off at one point.
Yeah, just in the background.
In the background, there's a subliminal. Not that subliminal.
It's not subliminal. It just shows it.
It just shows it. Yeah. But honestly, it is so good. It's so good when Gene Wilder's there. It's really hard. I think, why would you bother even? It's a bit like making Conan without Arnie, right? It's just don't. Just leave it, man. It's never going to top the first version, right?
That one was okay. So.
Say again?
The hearing that the Conan with Jason Momoa was okay.
Well, it was okay, but it wasn't Arnie. Arnie is the embodiment of Conan. Gene Wilder is the embodiment, in my opinion, of Willy Wonka. They'd have to do it something so completely different, and they can't stop doing it with young blokes. Really, it needs to be an old wizened professory type. I don't know how you could do to do that, but that's how he is in the books. That's about the only way I can think of redoing it, to be honest. More like the book. But anyway, I really enjoyed this. Anyway, back to you.
Okay, my other thing is a video game I've picked up again recently because the 1.0 version of it has finally come out.
Okay.
And that's Satisfactory. It's been in early access for about 4 or 5 years now.
Oh, wow.
And it's just came out in the full version. And boy, they have added a lot of stuff since I last played. Oh,
okay.
So what it is a factory making game where you play a character, the pioneer, gets dumped onto some random planet. You got to essentially make the company, which is called Fix-It, a profit.
Yeah.
And you're kind of loose from there. One of the first major things is a space elevator, so you can send the products off to space. And it just kind of gets more and more insane. Yeah. So I know one of the things that they recently added is temporal storage. So reality bending storage spaces.
Okay, temporal storage.
Insane.
Okay. I think I came in sometime and you were playing this, so I had a quick look at it. Is that right?
I was watching a video on it.
Oh, you were watching a video.
It is very fun.
It looks good. It does look good.
It's the closest to a 3D Factorio that there is.
Yeah, Factorio's amazing, but
Factorio's amazing. But this one doesn't so much have aggressive wildlife.
Right.
Like you're not trying to
combine external elements. You're just
there are still like hostile alien like animals.
Okay.
But they're mostly just there to cause an obstruction as you're doing stuff. It's not like they will start attacking you, and you need to build turrets and such.
Okay.
But yeah, still very fun game, very time consuming. So
Okay, yeah, cool. My next one is another recent film. In fact, two films. One's a sequel to the other. I went to see The Joker 2, so I'm going to talk. And I rewatched The Joker before I went. Joker, have you seen The Joker? I'm trying to remember. No. Okay. The Joker's quite an edgy film. You know, it's riffing on things like Taxi Driver, Falling Down, King of Comedy, things like that. And Joaquin Phoenix is, I never know how to say his name, so Joaquin was really good in it, but you did sometimes feel, am I actually watching someone who's got problems? Rather than someone acting like that, because it was that intense. His performance was amazing, right? In the Joker, and I quite like the Joker quite a bit. And I went to see Joker 2 because I wanted to ignore all the criticism. I wanted to judge for myself because the Joker got a lot of bad, comments when it came out, and I like that. I did like the Joker 2 quite a bit. It was quite an interesting extension. I'll only talk about the sort of things that you probably seen from trailers, so I'm not going to spoil anything. But I have to say, I believe Lady Gaga is a really good addition to this. She makes an interesting and complex Harley Quinn. And I don't think she's ever called Harley Quinn in this. Her name is Harley Quinzel.
Harley Quinzel.
And she is got I think a degree in psychology, things like that. There are elements. They don't veer any more into Batman than the first one did. The actual Batman, if that makes sense. It's still in Gotham City. And there's the odd character from the Batman universe that is significant in it. But really, it's nothing really to do with Batman. This is its own story, as was the first. I think they shoehorned a bit too much Batman into the first one, to be honest. But it kind of still worked. Whereas Joker 2, it's still about a very troubled man trying to understand if he's the Joker, or if the Joker is just an extension of him, or what if they're distinct things like that, right? And a lot of the fantastic, this man is a troubled man who goes into a fantasy world quite a lot. And those fantasy worlds are musical numbers, often with Harley Quinn. And I think he's got a lot of shit thrown at it because of that. Oh, it's a musical. I didn't care. I really liked that. In fact, I liked
it was bad. No one said anything about the musical being bad.
A lot of people complained about it.
Just didn't like the movie.
They didn't expect it to be a musical. I've seen a lot of that. I get the criticism. It is a complicated film, and it's not an easy film. Let's put it that way. And there were bits of it I really didn't like, specifically the very ending. I really didn't like the very ending, but I really dug it most of the way through. So I still rate it reasonably well. The first one I give an 8 or a 9 out of 10. This one I give a 7. And it would have been an 8 if I'd have liked the ending better, honestly. And Lady Gaga was terrific, as was Joaquin Phoenix. They were really good in this. It almost feels like this was a fuck you kind of film to previous critics as well. In some ways, it felt like that. I'm going to make the film I'm going to make, not the one you think I should make. There was an element of that to it, a bit like Last Jedi maybe, or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I quite like Joker 2, and my feeling was more positive than negative about it. So yeah, I'm glad I went to see it and ignored the criticism. But I can totally see why this wouldn't be everyone. This is not a film it's not a popcorn movie by any means. It's quite an intense drama about a man's sort of mental issues and dealing with that and stuff like that. So yeah, interesting film. So that I think you only had the 2, right? So that one's that.
Yeah, I only had the 2.
Okay, let's move on to your pick, which is Throne of Blood. Okay, so Throne of Blood came out in 1957. Produced, edited, directed by Akira Kurosawa. I believe it was the most expensive Japanese film ever made at the point of its making.
I can believe that.
Yeah. And basically, it's a Japanese version of Macbeth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's got elements of Japanese theatre, isn't it? Like No and what's the other one? I've forgotten the other one. Kabuki. There's kind of elements of that. So, just general impressions. What did you think of this?
The first half was okay. Was great. I really enjoyed the first half. To be clear to people who have not seen this is a Japanese adaptation of Macbeth. Mm-hmm. So this is Kurosawa's personal version of Macbeth, which, according to Wikipedia, he also held off on making for a bit because Orson Welles had made an adaptation.
Yeah, he made one in 1948. Yes, quite a famous adaptation of Macbeth. Yes.
So it's a transplanting of the Macbeth story onto sort of a feudal Japan era. So it's not a 1-to-1 replica.
No.
I think that's just a bit of its downfall because Macbeth is a good story. They kind of drop the Macbeth elements towards the end.
Some of them, it is essentially the same story still, I'd say. What they do is remove a lot of the words of Shakespeare, or the wordiness, and they replace it with visuals, really. Did you think that succeeded?
The visuals are very striking. A lot of the... basically any scene with what's her name, Saji, the Lady Macbeth equivalent, were just unpleasant because she's very creepy at all times. And but yeah, it was okay. Overall,
it was okay. All right, I have to say I liked it better than you. I thought you're quite right. Asaji was by far the most striking element of the film. She was really effective, and her words made sense in persuading her husband to go down this path, didn't they? They made perfect sense.
Yeah.
But it's her creepy... What really got me is how creepy just the sound of her dress as she moved became.
Yeah, she had I don't even know what the fabric would be, but it would just make this weird sort of scraping as she walked about.
And even when she wasn't on screen, you could hear her in the background moving about. Like she was the orchestrator of all things, and it really gave you a bit of a... set your teeth on edge almost, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, Toshiro Mifune delivers quite an intense performance in this as well. I believe, the way he acted, I believe he was directed to try and keep that scowling expression all the time because it was almost like a representation of a kabuki mask or a... He was always kind of... he did. And he looked like that most of the film, right? As did Lady Macbeth. She spoke very quietly and slowly, but, she's saying, well, if the king finds out about this, do you think we'll be safe? And it was all that kind of stuff, right? Lots of striking imagery as well. They filmed this on the side of Mount Fuji. In fact, we were speculating until we looked it up, right? Yeah. This looks like Mount Fuji. Yeah, because it's like black ash, isn't it? It's but they built these big wooden set, castles.
Yeah. It's a very intricate set, and they did get a lot of use out of the fortress that is the title place for the Japanese name for it.
Yeah, Spiderweb
Fortress.
And there was Spider's Web Forest as well.
Yeah, the nearby Spider's Web Woods.
Yeah,
there's. I was surprised by how much exterior shots of the castle there was.
Yeah, they were getting their money
with characters included. It wasn't just like here's an establishing shot and we're into the
I like some of the elements I like really early on, and you spotted things that might be more meaningful to Japanese viewers than us, right? You spotted, for example, he had a centipede logo. Flag.
So centipedes are considered admittedly, this is something I've learned from YouTube and looking into lore on a game called Sekiro. But centipedes are considered like low and corrupt creatures.
Yeah, and he had that, and
like,
the other lord, is it Macduff or Banquo character?
Yeah, he would be the Banquo character.
Had a rabbit logo, didn't he? And you're saying that might be the moon, but I don't know if that ties into it.
Yeah, there's lots of. There's a lot of possibilities. So.
Yeah, this is considered one of the best Shakespeare adaptations ever made by critics, which is interesting. Considering how different the texts are, this really is all of those words, dagger in the mind, tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, all of that replaced by visuals. But this is Kurosawa, right? So who knows how to do visuals? There was a bit too much people riding around in horses in forests. I think that there was that dragged a little. That made it drag a little. But the ultimate end, there was, instead of 3 witches, there was like a weird wizard in the woods, right?
Yeah, it was like an angry spirit.
It
was just sort of sitting there spinning a spinning wheel.
Yeah, but the predictions were very similar to what we used to in Macbeth.
Yeah,
you'll be king, but your colleague, your colleague's son will be the ruler, the master of the castle, things like that. So yeah, there was a lot of that, and a lot of the predictions were very similar. Because in the original text, Macbeth goes to see the 3 witches twice, doesn't he? First when he encounters them, and then he goes to Arsenal, and they say things like, "Only when the woods come to the castle, and you will not be killed by any man of woman born," and things like that. They drop that one in this film, but they do talk about the woods coming to the castle, which does happen in the film, and really effective looking it is too. But really, for me, the Lady Macbeth role, Asaji, was absolutely amazing. Her performance was amazing. I'm not sure she won an award, but I know Mifune did, and the film has won various awards. But she deserves any credit she gets for this role. It was so creepy. She's like to me, she's almost like one of the great female antagonist roles in cinema. She's so effective. I don't know, I'm having trouble thinking of another female. Wicked Witch of the West, maybe? It's quite iconic. But she is something else. Norman Bates' mum. But yeah, she was really good. I'm sad that you didn't like it as much as I thought you'd like it a bit more than this. Actually.
Yeah, because I've heard a lot about Throne of Blood.
Yeah,
mainly during in the ending sequence, Toshiro Mifune is actually having arrows shot at him.
Yeah, that's presumably headless arrows, but they were going into walls, weren't they?
They were real arrows.
Oh my God!
They were just off camera, but they were still getting shot at him. And they are still real arrows, so he could have been very badly hurt.
Yeah. Great. Well, that's very brave.
Thing to point out is when he's like sort of moving back and forth, he like waves his hands, like where he's going to go. So they always shoot the other side.
Yeah,
so
that was part of it,
the blocking, like being done there. So.
Yeah. The ending was quite amazing. All those arrows in him, and sort of did that. Apparently, an inspiration for Carrie, the end of Carrie. Just so you know, which is just a coincidence, right? Just a coincidence. I mean, we've seen other Kurosawa. We covered this Seven Samurai. Yeah. We know how fantastic it is, and he's got other films that are really good. There's, if you're talking about medieval Japan, there's Rashomon, there's Yojimbo, there's...
is Sandro one of his?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure. Apparently Honda...
We watched a lot of Toshiro Mifune samurai movies in a row, so it's kind of starting to...
Yeah. He wanted Honda to direct originally, who did Godzilla. But it fell through, and so Kurosawa decided to do it himself. Very good. And The Hidden Fortress is another one I really like. I wouldn't mind watching us watching that sometime.
Yeah.
It's influential on Star Wars, if nothing else. But there's also modern ones that are really good, like Akiru is really good. If you see it, Akiru. It was remade recently with Bill Nighy, set in Britain. Basically a little man trying to get a playground built for kids before he dies, right? Because he's dying. So it's like a drama stroke tragedy. But Akira is an amazing film. But, I wouldn't mind doing Hidden Fortress and maybe Rashomon with you sometime. I just think it'd be worth it. It was... I think before it started, I was saying to you, I think this is quite stylized, just so you know, because it's based on... But it wasn't as stylized as I remembered it. Bits of it were, for sure. But bits weren't. The only thing I didn't buy character-wise, I'll tell you one element I didn't buy was, was it Asagi commit, guilty, feeling guilt. I just didn't buy that. I
can kind of get it more with Lady Macbeth because she's mental.
Yeah.
But Asagi is stone cold dedicated to this.
Yeah. Now I think something that would be better based for the characters here would be if Macbeth realised that she was the downfall of him and he killed her. That's what I felt that would have been a better character drive through this, but that isn't the same as the original text. So fair enough. Just having a quick.
Also, I feel like it's kind of in Macbeth. You kind of get a much more of a feel that Macbeth is an excellent soldier.
Yeah.
Whereas this, we don't really. It doesn't really get communicated that he's a good soldier. We get information from other people saying, he won a battle.
That's the same as the play. The play's like that until the very end when Macbeth actually starts fighting people.
We get a fight, and it's pretty good until Macduff comes and kills them.
Yeah.
And it's just, he doesn't seem like a good commander in this.
No, everyone distrusts him almost immediately, right? People distrust him also.
He has all his advisors killed, in the forest. It just doesn't come across like that he's a good commander, really.
Yeah.
There's
some, you know what? That makes me think of another Kurosawa film that I haven't seen in forever, and I've just remembered it. Made in the 70s called Kagemusha, also called Shadow Warrior, where basically, I think it's Toshiro Mifune. He's a lowly soldier, but he's the identical to the Great General, right?
Okay.
The Great General, and he acts as basically they dress him up as to fool people, but then the Great General dies, and no one knows he's he's not the Great General, so he has to start acting like the Great General.
Yeah, that sounds.
And he pulls it off. Oh man, it's really. I cannot remember how it ends, but I do believe there's a sequence in it. A dream sequence where he faces himself in battle. Yeah, he dreams about fighting himself. A bit like The Empire Strikes Back, Under the Tree, right?
Yeah.
And it was made before then, so that's another one we could possibly try. And there's also another Shakespearean adaptation Kurosawa did called Ran, which is an adaptation of King Lear. And again, in that, there's a woman in it who is like, whoa! A bit like Asagi in this, yeah. Because I don't know if you know King Lear. It's about his 3 daughters, but 2 of them are kind of evil and one's good. But because the evil ones say good things about him, and the good one can't find the words, he casts out the good daughter and gives his kingdom to the 2 evil daughters, basically.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's what King Lear is. Anyway, sorry, I've got into Shakespeare. I watch a lot of Shakespeare. Yeah. Right. Okay.
And maybe I was just expecting a more entertaining action sequences from the guy who directed Seven Samurai, Sanjuro and Yojimbo.
I mean, this is basically him facing an army at the end, and it's not fighting individuals, is it? He's just having to fight the whole army are trying to just start firing arrows at him, right?
Let's be clear. He doesn't even end up fighting. He gets shot with arrows, and the army leaves him alone, and he dies.
Yeah, it's a kind of ignoble death, really, isn't it? It doesn't even face off with anyone.
Crossing of swords at all. So
it's a weird choice, isn't it? Because they say reasonably faithful, and that is quite dramatically quite important to Macbeth. Basically at the end, Macbeth's like, "Fuck it, I don't care what the predictions say. Come at me. You know, it's like that, right? Whereas in this, he's just first he starts going a bit mad. It's about greed, isn't it? This it's really about
ambition.
greed and guilt. Because guilt brought them down. Because the way he started acting towards the troops with his guilt meant they started distrusting him and so on, and then started questioning why he was acting like this and so on. But there was all sorts of elements from the play. You know, the ghost was there, where he starts reacting to a ghost he sees that no one else sees. All right, shall we get to rating? What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
How would you rate this?
I'd rate it about a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Oh, that's not too bad, actually.
Yeah, like I say, I enjoyed the first half.
Yeah.
But then the second half comes around and it's like, oh, he's not that good at this. And
yeah, well, basically, once he becomes king, once
he becomes king, it just kind of is boring because he's sitting there sweating.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it for what happens through the rest of
and there's a bit less Lady Macbeth too, isn't there? There's a little less Lady Macbeth.
The second, what would be the second witch sequence was pretty good. Where the spirit starts walking out of the mist as the different people he's killed. Yeah,
and they're laughing at him and all sorts, right? Yeah. Okay, I give this, I'd say 8. Actually, I thought before I rewatched it, I was like in the 9s, but there were some drag elements. You know, there's some element, a bit too much horses riding around the forest.
Yeah,
like,
they
who
really
are these people?
How mysterious the terrain that they were running around is.
Yeah.
So they did about 8 times in a row. The characters ride out of the mist up to the screen, look around, and then turn back and ride into the mist.
Oh, yeah, that kept happening. It was a bit repetitive. There was another element I quite liked. The fact right at the beginning we see like the warlord and the generals all sitting there in almost ceremonial armor. They're just sitting there, right? They're not doing anything. Whereas Macbeth and his colleague, you know, the Banquo equivalent, their outfits look like proper military, you know, armor. Like they were proper soldiers, you know? And that was kind of interesting. It became interesting that when he became Lord, he started dressing in all that stuff and stopped looking less like a soldier, right?
Yeah.
So there was... Just looking at Rotten Tomatoes, 96% based on 47 reviews. That's pretty high. Average score 8.8 out of 10. And a career, the site's consensus is career high point for Akira Kurosawa and one of the best film adaptations of a Shakespeare play. I cannot agree with the best highlight. I think, you know, Seven Samurai is just peerless, right? So one of the greatest films ever made. This was decent, but I wouldn't put it in that class myself. Quite. Also, the copy we saw, it was quite grainy, wasn't it? I wonder if there's a better version out there. And quite a good. I like Macbeth is my favourite Shakespeare play, so I quite like seeing adaptations of Macbeth. And you know what? I don't think I've ever seen one I didn't like in terms of either TV or movies. I have seen them on stage ones I definitely didn't like. I've definitely seen those. But I like almost all flavours of Macbeth, and this is probably on the higher end of that scale for me. This one. I think it's quite powerful. But I kind of get it. And like I say, there were drags. There were drags in this. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, let's wind up there. Good choice, in my opinion. Shame you didn't like it as much as I did, but that's life, right? Sometimes it's like that. But, you know, you might watch it again. The thing is, I haven't watched this in about 30 years, and I remembered almost all of it, which is a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Because some films I watch, and like a week later, it's like, I cannot remember a single thing about that movie. I have to read my reviews to remind myself, you know. But yeah. All right, then let's wind it up there. So next time we do this, it'll be my choice. So bye from me.
Bye.